So this is just gonna be an update video about my life, about what's going on, where I've been, mainly for myself. So when I look back on this in a couple of years or whatever, I'll see what I was up to at the time. But if you care about my life currently, or if you just are peering into a random stranger's life on the internet, here is a quick little update about what I've been up to. I think it's really funny that the last video I uploaded, I talked about, and that was like 3 weeks ago or maybe even a month ago now, but I talked about how I wanted to, possibly make YouTube one of my priorities, my top priorities for the summer. And I did talk about narrowing your focus and only having 1 or 2, 3, maybe 4 maximum main goals to accomplish or to focus on at one time. But really, I've had 2 things that I've been really honed in on and that I've been taking a bunch of my time, and YouTube just hasn't really been able to fit in there for me, unfortunately. Also, I can definitely take some blame because I haven't been 100% productive 100% of my days, so definitely fault on my end for not taking the time, making the time to sit down and record a YouTube video, because it's really not that much effort on my part with the types of videos that I'm making. So full blame, full accountability there. But yeah, I guess it's just not how the cookie crumbled. Anyways, what I've been up to these past couple weeks, I'm not gonna name names or anything. If you know about my life, or if you know me personally, or if you are me in the future, you'll probably know what experiences I'm talking about, just so I don't accidentally say something that I'm not supposed to or something like that. I feel like that could not be a good look currently. So just because I'm uploading this now as I'm currently going through these events. So big thing that's been happening for me is the club that I'm involved in. Stepping into the president role has been taking a lot of my time. It's a lot of managing people, more so than what it used to be when I was just an analyst doing equity research and putting together reports. It's a lot more high level thinking, high level strategy, I guess you could say. And I thought it would be a lot different than what it is currently. Going into it, I was just like, oh, I'm becoming the president of this club. Obviously, I knew it was a little more serious than that, because there's a layer of complexity that is involved with it. However, it's a college student organization, so I didn't think it would be anything crazy. I started up a student organization with my roommate Christian a while, like 2 years ago or something like that by now, and we didn't get like very involved in it, so I thought, and then it eventually kind of fell off. So I did think it was going to be more of that, more hands-off kind of thing, let the organization take its pace. But this is something that has been much bigger and much more complex than I could have foreseen. And it's an interesting challenge. I didn't sign up for it, really. I guess nobody forced me to take this role, but just the nature of how it all unfolded, I didn't necessarily have to go for the president role, but people were, I guess, looking to me to fulfill the spot, take up the position. So I did feel some sort of obligation, some sort of duty to give back to the organization that has helped me so much. So I'm not complaining about it at all. And in fact, it has taught me a lot more in this only month that I've been the president so far. It has taught me so much more about leadership than I would have ever imagined anything would have. I think it's one of the most interesting ways that I can prepare for dealing with interacting with people, maybe even on a business sense in the real world. And that's something I just was not expecting from that experience. And I'm very grateful for it, because that's something that I've been wanting to work on, is my leadership skills and my ability to influence people and unite people, make them come together for a common goal. That is something that I do think is valuable to have in my tool belt. So I'm very, very grateful for that opportunity. And I kind of just saw the fruits after I have been going through all whatever the turmoil or whatever of like setting up meetings and sitting in on a bunch of meetings and talking about like what does the club mean, what is our purpose, what value do we add to the students in this university. And there's just a lot of high level thinking that goes involved in it that I just did not expect. And it's a pleasant surprise actually, because I take these things, these challenges, as an opportunity to grow. That's how I'm looking at it. So I know that I'll come out on the other side with like an amazing experience and something to look back on. And I would definitely not regret stepping into the role for a second, even though it's only been a month. I know I still have a whole another 11 months to go, but for now, and I'm sure it will continue into the future, that has been something that's super rewarding still, and the school year hasn't even started, so I can't even imagine once we hit the ground running and start getting new kids in the club and, just operating under the new schedule or whatever changes are going to happen. Really looking forward to how things progress, and hopefully we get that up and running before the end of summer. So then once we get into the school year, it'll be all good to go. And then the other thing I've been working on, just this first day, today, it's Monday, June 5th, and I just got back. That's why I'm chilling here, sitting in the room. Probably looks a little different than any of the other environments that I've been in, but it's because I'm interning at a very large company, and it's my first official start and experience in a corporate job. And I'm interning here only for 9 weeks, so very short sprint, but there's the potential of getting a return offer, so I could come back and work for this firm post-grad. So that would be really exciting, honestly, because it's interesting being in the self-improvement space, and they talk a lot about entrepreneurship. I understand that, and I was also on that wave, on part of that movement, and I do still believe in the entrepreneurship. I don't necessarily believe that everybody has to own their own business. It doesn't make everybody happy, and I'm not saying that doesn't make me happy, because I think I would be pretty happy doing my own thing. However, I do recognize you can't neglect the fact that there's going to be experience to be had working at, say, a massive firm with immense resources that you would not be able to acquire on your own. So that you wouldn't be able to acquire on your own unless it was after like decades of hard work. So obviously it takes a while to get there. However, getting an experience with a firm that's already well established is a foot in the door, is a way to break into an industry that you didn't necessarily know. You could test things out too. Maybe you think that you want to start your own business doing something like manufacturing t-shirts, but you've never done it before. And if you just try and do that on your own, sure, you'll find out whether or not you like it or not, but that's a very risky venture, and you could throw your whole life savings at this t-shirt business just to find out that you don't even want to spend the rest of your life doing that, or it really just does not make you happy at all, and you're just doing it as a way to say that you own your own business or whatever. And I think if you take the passion out of the things that you're doing, it really degrades the experience, and you just don't get the same spirit out of it. The same something that, I don't know, the word that I'm trying to get to is escaping my mind right now. You don't get that same feeling of life when you put in passionate work towards what you're doing. And I think that jobs could be a great way of experimenting with that. You don't have to stay once you get into a job, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to work there for the rest of your working days, the rest of your 40 years working. That doesn't have to be the case necessarily. You could try out a job for 6 months, say you don't like it, and you could try something else. Either get a new job in a different industry, or maybe if that firm is big enough and you have established a good enough reputation, maybe you can even transition and pivot within the firm that you're currently in, because they already know you. They already know that you do good work, and they know that if they put you in another area that makes you happier, you'll do better work that you've already been doing. And then, it's kind of a give and take, right? You can't have it all. And I think that's something that I'm willing to sacrifice. It's not like I'm selling my soul going to corporate for the time being. I don't know how long I'll stay. I don't know if I could even find out that I want to do this for the rest of my life, and it would be very interesting to see that character development, to see that transition of being I really want to just run my own business. That's it. Entrepreneurship, that is the end goal. And maybe I find this is the value in a corporate job in America. And I think, I don't know if that's sad to say, because I know that's always the dream in these types of spaces, is to own your own business and whatever, the financial freedom. And that's not to say that you can't achieve those things in a job. Sure, it's probably harder. You probably got to do some stuff on the side, or, save your money religiously. But there is something to be said about work and being productive. The whole point of financial freedom, I don't think the point of it is to get enough money, get your $10 million, throw it all in, an investment that'll pay you 10% a year. That would be hard to find. But maybe 6% a year or whatever. And then you just live off of that residual income and never work again in your life. I don't think that's the goal for most people. You'll be probably very bored after maybe a couple months of nothing to do. Sure, you might get your traveling all out, but then once that's it, I feel like you'll just have a sense of emptiness without a purpose. And that's something that's been really central to my life, and the thing that keeps me going a lot of times will be work. And I don't think I want to be able to achieve financial freedom and time freedom to be able to choose what I spend my time doing, and have the option to choose if I want to work or not. And obviously that is a lofty goal. However, I think that the whole idea of it isn't to never work again a day in your life, because that's the same thing. Some people retire and then they get bored and then they just come back into the workforce. So I think it's unrealistic to assume that you would just want to retire early. Imagine if you retired at 25 and then for the rest of your life you just did nothing. It seems to me that you would be kind of just an empty shell of your potential, of what you could have been, at least my personal view. I think that, now on the other hand, do I think that working a job for 40 years doing something you hate is the end goal? Definitely not. And I think people make it pretty black and white in that way, where they say, oh, if you go to a corporate job and you're a slave to corporate America, you're going to work 40 years, probably maybe 60 years of your life, and not even going to be able to retire and all of this. But if that was I understand that it's propaganda for the entrepreneur side, but if that was the case, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are unhappy doing what they're doing, but there's also a lot of people who value the stability in having a stable job, a stable career, paid time off in some cases, and whether they use it or not, it's up to them. But I'm starting to see a lot of the sides. Maybe it's me being more indoctrinated by the system or whatever. Maybe it's me just growing up and seeing that, you know, there's more options that can still make you happy, and it doesn't have to be running your own business or whatever, even though that's what social media and whatnot, these self-improvement spaces will tell you you should be striving for. I think it's possible to be happy working a job. It might be pretty rare, but I do think it's possible. And, it does give you something to do. Again, back to the whole financial freedom thing, but yeah, I don't know. This was definitely a tangent. I went on a completely different path of a life update. But yeah, that's like what I've been up to. I've been very busy lately. But that's, I think, the goal, right? We want to be staying busy. We want to be off the internet. At least I personally do at this current place in time. I would prefer to spend my days in real life versus being online, and that's what I've been doing lately. So hopefully you enjoyed. If you stayed even this long, I appreciate you taking interest in what I had to say or my own life, my personal life, whatever. If it's me from the future, hello. And yeah, with that, I guess I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and remember to stay on target.